Hello and welcome to today's webinar, ShareFile and Microsoft, Shaping the Future of Work. My name is Michelle and I will be your moderator. Well, with me today we have Liz Gilliam and Christina Ritter. Christina is one of our many wonderful customer success managers here at ShareFile, and she enjoys working with our customers to find the best ways ShareFile and other Citrix products can help their businesses succeed. Liz has been with Citrix for over 2 years and is responsible for developing programs and content to help make ShareFile easier for you to use. Welcome, Christina and Liz.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Well, today on our agenda, we will be reviewing the ShareFile plugin from Microsoft, co-authoring documents, and how to connect to your personal cloud accounts. We're going to be covering a lot of great content today, so please ask questions and share your comments by using the question and answer panel at any time during our webinar. We also have Matt and Ashley on the back end in the question and answer panel, so they'll be able to help you answer some questions throughout the webinar as well. As always, we are recording today's session, and we'll be sharing that recording out with everyone shortly after the conclusion of the webinar. All right, Liz, let's get started.
Great, thank you so much, and good morning and good afternoon to everyone on the phone. We are so happy to have you with us today. As we get into today's content, we like to start every webinar with just a little bit of an overview of who we are at ShareFile and what we do. We are so grateful to have all of you in the ShareFile family, but we realize use cases are kind of different from business to business, and you may be using the tool for one thing and not another. So consider this a great opportunity to get a little bit of a preview at some of the different ways that you can use ShareFile. At Citrix, we empower our customers to provide secure and reliable access to apps and data anywhere, on any device, across any platform. And ShareFile is really the core of that vision. We were founded on the principle of enabling businesses and IT professionals to work the way they want. And we have been growing. This is actually a little bit of an outdated slide now. We have surpassed 70,000 business customers and now have more than 20 million users. 99% of the Fortune 500 are represented in the ShareFile user base, and we're expanding that every day. So when we think about what you can use ShareFile for, we kind of think of that in 4 core areas, and those are the little bubbles you're seeing on your screen there. First and foremost, ShareFile is a great repository for secure and reliable cloud storage. It allows you to back up and safeguard so many of those critical and sensitive documents that you use every day, but I will always make a call out that it means your documents need to be in ShareFile. If you haven't migrated everything in today or you haven't put everything in, think about it over the next couple of weeks, months. You want to get ahead of the game before you have that outage one day and can't get into your files. The second is hand-in-hand with secure storage, and that's security. We allow a number of personal controls such that you can access and manage internal security, making sure that if you have HR documents, for example, other members of your team can't see those, as well as client security, looking externally outside of your business and making sure your clients only see the select documents they need. Number 3 is really simple and efficient workflows, or think of this as team collaboration. We do whole webinars on this topic with bigger features like feedback and approvals, meaning if you needed to send a document maybe for an e-signature, or you're trying to get feedback from a client or a third party or maybe an internal senior exec, and you really need a great way to document and audit that feedback, we have tools built in for that. And of course, the 4th tenet here is so basic but so important, and that's just interoperability. Being able to access your files on any device. If you didn't know today or didn't know before, you'll know today, we have ShareFile applications on your desktop, on tablets, and on mobile phones so that you can get to your data anywhere, anytime. All right, so that's a little bit about us. Moving on to our relationship with Microsoft. This is the core of today's presentation. Citrix and Microsoft have been strategic partners for 23 years, and that relationship has been intentional. Microsoft is the default business provider in so many ways, especially when it comes to core document applications like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And so our integrations with Microsoft are always going to be a priority. We're focused on enabling your business with all of the leading platforms in the market. So as more companies go to one tool or another, we're going to follow and support those trends. I should call out here too, though, that Microsoft is not our only strategic partner. This webinar is specific to the partnership, but we are also engaged with Google, Apple, Adobe, and so many other platforms too. We actually have focused webinars in some of those other partnerships, specifically Apple, and you can access those webinars on demand along with all of our webinars at sharefile.com/support. So, bringing all that together, we are this extensive content collaboration platform. We have integrations and partnerships with Microsoft. How does that come together? Given that Microsoft is the default business provider for documents like Excel and PowerPoint, our partnership is clear. We focus on allowing you to work with Microsoft documents and on Windows environments wherever your files live, with whomever you need to collaborate, using whatever device you have, but it's all securely through ShareFile. So while you may maintain content and files in multiple repositories, maybe you have an old SharePoint sitting around, maybe you have Office 365, but ShareFile is your single pane of glass that unites your sources across maybe Microsoft, Apple, other data repositories, and provides secure internal and external sharing and editing. So to kind of bring this together in a short synopsis, what ShareFile does better than anyone is connect data through a single pane of glass, no matter where it's stored, and then allowing you to really securely collaborate on those documents without fear of, is this document going to be accessed in transit? Is somebody else going to get their hands on maybe an accounting document that has social security numbers in it? We've all seen those headlines recently. We are here to protect and make sure that doesn't happen. So getting back to Michelle's overview today of what we're going to be talking about, we're going to go ahead and dive into the core of the content and exactly why we know you joined us today. Christina, if you'll take us to our next slide. Before we start getting into demos and showing you all of these great features with Microsoft and Windows, we just wanted to cover off on a couple of the basics, the 101s that you just need to know about in terms of ShareFile apps for Windows and how to get them. For anything you see today in terms of an application on Windows, if you want to apply these in your business, step one is to log in to your ShareFile account using a web browser. And there's a little button in the top right corner, you see that in the red box, called Apps. And if you click on Apps for Windows, you're going to see a long list of different apps. And think of these as shortcuts, faster ways to get into ShareFile and access your files, depending on what's most convenient for you. We won't go into all of these today, but you just need to know they're there. Things like ShareFile Sync, which will automatically keep files and folders in sync with your computer. So as you create and save a document, it just auto syncs up into ShareFile. It's so fast and easy. I like to think of this as the set it and forget it. It's just running all the time and you don't have to worry about whether or not it's in ShareFile. The number two here is the desktop app. Think of this like a mobile app, but on your desktop. And it's a shortcut to get into ShareFile and see all of your files there. It also saves some local storage if you're worried about having too many files on your particular hard drive. And it only stores things in the cloud. Last but not least is print to ShareFile. And this is fantastic, one of our best kept secrets, a little shortcut where if you have a document open, you can go to File, Print. And instead of actually printing out of a physical machine, it'll have an option to save to ShareFile. So again, we're not going to go into a ton of detail on these today, but there's so much more you can learn about them and kind of test them out. Just log into your web browser, click on the Apps button, Apps for Windows, and you'll see these and more. We are going to demo the three most key things that Michelle covered at the top of this webinar, though, and the first of those is ShareFile for Microsoft Outlook. And I know we talked about this being a Microsoft webinar today, but I have to call out because we always get the question, if this app that we're about to show you previously was not available on a Mac. So if you're an existing customer, you've been with us for a while, great news. What we're showing you today is now available across Windows and Mac or Apple devices. So spread the news with your other Mac friends if that's a concern within your business. But this is our #1 most popular Microsoft app. Where do you spend most of your day? I know for so many of us, whether we like it or not, it's often an email. And so this application gives you a little shortcut into access, share, and encrypt attachments in the same place that you're living all day. It'll encrypt your attachments, and in the Windows environment, it actually has the ability to encrypt not only the attachment, but the copy of your email too. This one's way better to see live, so I'm going to pass things over to Christina, and she will show us exactly what this looks like.
All right, thank you, Liz. I am pulling up my ShareFile account for you guys to see and getting signed in online. And all of our apps are available for download from within the web app by coming to the upper right-hand corner and clicking on Apps. Now, again, we are going to focus primarily on these apps for Windows, but those apps for Mac users can be found here. And the 3 apps that Liz described to you are also here: the desktop app, the sync app, as well as farther down, the print to share file. So definitely feel free to explore those on your own. And coming back up to the top is where you can find our plugin for Microsoft Outlook on a Windows machine. So after you download it and reopen your Outlook, you are going to see that you have a new icon, the beautiful green S, and that is your integration with ShareFile. From within here, we wanted to give you tons of options and preferences for security, notifications, expiration. So you get to choose on a per user basis how you want the integration to work. Again, we don't want to force you into using it any certain way, so you can manipulate your own security settings and encryption needs through here. Now, within every email, you have a few additional icons now. And again, they're all green, so they're easy to find. If you need to send an attachment that is either really sensitive or really large, just come to your green paperclip. You can attach it from here, and now not only do you have access to your computer, to all the files in here, but you'll notice if I come back to the paperclip, there is a second option that says From ShareFile. So from this button, you have access to all of the files you've chosen to store online in your ShareFile account right from here. So you can expand into any folder, grab the document that you need, and as soon as you click attach, it's now an encrypted ShareFile link, and you're good to go. Just carry on like normal, typing your email as needed. You can type above or below, and it's no extra steps. You saw it yourself, you just attach it from that green paperclip. Now, if you need a file back, we also give you the ability so that all of the recipients of the emails you're sending to, they can respond back and upload an encrypted file. All you do is one click on the Request Files button, and it's going to import a hyperlink and a complete sentence that will ask them to upload a document back to you. And again, this link can be sent to anybody. They don't need to be a paid user, a free user. This is just so that you, in your business, are giving your clients the right to safe sending as well. And finally, for those using Microsoft locally installed Outlook on a Windows machine, you are able to encrypt the body of your email with this lock in the upper left. So if I need to type out a social security number, or maybe a credit card number, or a date of birth, now, even though this isn't in the attachment, it's just in the body, I can still protect it. All you do, again, it's just one click. It's too easy. You come to the upper left-hand corner, click on the lock, and as soon as it says on, the body of your email is now being protected with that same level of 256-bit encryption. So with simple one clicks within Outlook now, all of your information is safeguarded and no extra time was spent doing so. So definitely download it from the apps page if you don't have it already, and you'll be amazed at how easy it is. But I will turn it back to you now, Liz.
A couple of different, I think given the last couple of weeks, we could all come up with a few examples of times when we wish other businesses may have encrypted their messages and they were breached by a number of people. So that is such a fantastic tool to point out there, the ability to encrypt both the body of your email as well as the attachments. You can also do that from within the web application if you prefer to, if that's where you're accessing on a day-to-day basis. All right, moving on to feature number 2 then, staying with the most popular features here. The next one is our co-editing solution with Office 365. First call out, this does require an Office 365 license. That's something you would purchase directly through Microsoft, but we have an integration with the co-editing capabilities that would allow you and other internal team members to edit the same document at the same time. If you don't have Office 365, please don't worry. This is not the only way to collaborate on documents. We've actually built in a number of other tools to allow you to have similar functionality if you don't have Office 365. One of those is called Check In and Check Out, which think of that as just like a library hold, where you might say, this is my book. I'm going to take it out for a little bit. I'll work on this document and then check it back in. Think of it as returning that book back to the library. And none of those features require an Office 365 license, so this is the only thing you're going to see today that needs it, but it is such a great way to really collaborate quickly, have multiple people input information into the same document at the same time, and what is one of our most popular features internally within Citrix employees too. So I'll pass that over, and Christina and I are going to take a look at how to do that together.
Sure thing. So we're pulling back up my ShareFile account, and I'm going to navigate within my folders to a Microsoft file that I want to do live edits with and co-edit. So I'm going to click into where I need to be. And this document here, I want to edit it. I want to make real-time changes and allow for my colleagues to also make real-time changes. So what I will do is I'm going to click Edit over here. So clicking Edit will open up a new tab, and it's going to ask you to verify that you have your Office 365 login credentials. Those licenses are affordable, so if you don't have it but you're interested, maybe consider. So signing in, and it is taking me to that document in the live editing platform. And you can see that Liz is already in here making changes. So she's coming in, making edits. I can come in here and make my own. Oops. And you can see we are both in here making real-time changes to the document. And if you look up at the top, it just saved those changes back into ShareFile. So now all of these new edits are a new version that has been put back into our ShareFile repository. So if I click back into ShareFile and just do a little refresh here of this page, you will notice that there are multiple versions. And every time you make an edit, we will save that edit, but we won't trash the older version, just in case you realize you want to go back and maybe the edits weren't the best in the world and you actually prefer yesterday's version. You just look here at the upload date, select the version that you want, and you can still download that, email that version out, but you'll be able to tell with an exact timestamp down to the minute who did that change. So it's a great way to monitor who's doing editing and which version is the newest without losing the older version. So definitely a great way to go. And again, you can either right-click the document to edit it, or you can simply click into the file, and there's that edit button again. All right, thank you for doing some co-editing with me, Liz. I will turn it back to you.
Thanks so much, Christina. Specifically around that feature with the versioning, if I did not have Office 365 and I was maybe using check-in and check-out to work on multiple versions of a document, is that same feature still available?
It is, yep. On our current business plans, we have the check-in, check-out feature. So if you don't have the license, or if you do, you can still use that checkout functionality to let other people know, hey, I'm editing the file. Please don't make edits until I check back in my new version so that we don't have conflicting versions back in the system. So anybody can use that on our business plans.
That's great. And I did see we had a question come in at one point around version control and accessing older versions. So this is another great thing, especially when you're working with multiple people inside the same business on the same document. Maybe somebody came in and made a couple of changes that you didn't really like, or a version of a document was rejected during an approvals process. That's a great way to come back in and access the older version that you did want. And a huge advantage to using ShareFile and making sure that all of your content is in there at the same time. So just did want to point that out. It's great if you have Office 365, but it's still available and beneficial even if you don't. Okay, so moving on to our last piece here. I talked at the top of the webinar about using ShareFile as a single pane of glass for files anywhere. And that is truly ShareFile's strength. It is something we are able to do really better than anybody else on the market. And the reason that we offer some of these features is because we recognize no modern business today woke up and said, I'm going to start all of my content and all of my files brand new. I bought ShareFile and we will just start creating our very first document and saving it into ShareFile. We know your business didn't grow like that, and you may have a ton of files in other places. Maybe you've used a competitive product in the past. Maybe you have an old network share or an old SharePoint account. Maybe you've got, documents in another personal cloud that you had just for you and not for the business. When you buy ShareFile, it allows you to connect all of those disparate areas into the same document or into the same kind of pane of glass so that you can start training your business to really say, moving forward, we are only going to use ShareFile to access documents. But there's not going to be a huge migration period or data migration period where we have to throw all this content in there. We'll allow you to connect out to existing data repositories to give you some time to do that. And in talking with clients, we can come up with a couple of examples where I've seen sometimes a business administrator say, we're going to give you 60 days. We've adopted ShareFile. We know it's going to take some time to get used to. So we're going to go connect out to our existing network shares or our old legacy SharePoint account and allow you to basically have 60 days to select the files that you'd like to bring over to SharePoint. And then we'll turn those off. And moving forward, we'll exclusively use ShareFile. The tool that allows you to connect all of these data repositories to one place are called connectors. And so you may see that pop up a lot here in the next couple of screens. And just think of it as connecting out to any other source, but accessing through ShareFile. This is a great way to give your team flexibility, to kind of win them over on ShareFile if that takes a couple of weeks or months to do without having to do a ton of data migration right out the gate. So we're going to pass over to Christina on this one. And Christina, if you don't mind kicking us off here just to help answer a couple of the questions coming in, help cover off for us who can see connectors and who can set those up and turn them on.
Good question. So Connectors are initially managed by any of the admins in the account who have the permission to manage connectors. So within the admin settings here on the screen, if you click on it, your next menu contains a tab called Connectors. And within the Connectors tab are all of the different storage repositories that we allow you to connect with. By default, all of them are disabled, but if you spot any from this list that you have, you can enable them on an account-wide basis. So enabling them for the account just means that every user in your account, all of your employees, could then connect to their connectors. So you turn it on from an admin perspective, allowing each employee to decide if they want to enable their connectors. So pulling back up the ShareFile account here, and again, those are settings, and then in the admin settings, you will find that connectors list right here. And again, the admin needs to manage those first. And then on a personal basis, each user is then able to go into their personal settings to manage their own connectors and decide which ones they want to turn on for their account. So I'm going to show you guys, I have a few set up. You can see I have OneDrive for Business, Google Drive, we have SharePoint, Box, and Dropbox. I'm going to click into my OneDrive for Business account. So again, even though I can access OneDrive for Business within ShareFile, it's just a window into the account. So even though these folders appear with the same structure and appearance as ShareFile folders, these are just my OneDrive folders, but I can access them from within ShareFile. And you might be thinking, again, why would I access them from within ShareFile if I can just go to OneDrive? Now, the reason being is if you want to keep files in another storage repository for the time being, there are still a wide variety of things you can do with the file using ShareFile. So use ShareFile as that vehicle or vessel to accomplish safe sending, or use ShareFile as that vessel to initiate a workflow or to send a document for electronic signature. So these two files are in my OneDrive account. They're not stored in ShareFile. I'm just looking at it through a ShareFile window. I can take that file in OneDrive and download it. I can email it with our level of security, which is just, top in the industry. That 256-bit encryption can now send my OneDrive documents out externally. Or what you really might want to use this for is to copy the file and place it in any of your other ShareFile folders. So now you are truly taking a copy and you're putting it in ShareFile. So I'm going to take a copy and move it into a folder in ShareFile. And now from here, with that file actually in ShareFile, I can click into that document that I transferred from OneDrive. Oops, and it's just taking a moment. But from here, what you're able to do then is treat it like a ShareFile file. Do I want to email it safely? Do I want to initiate approval? If you have our e-signature tool, you can then send it to get signed. So you can leave your files in other places, but use ShareFile then to collaborate, to edit, to send safely, and to initiate feedback and approval. So it's a great way to keep working the way you want to work, but utilize our features to do so. All right, Liz, I'm coming back to you.
Thanks so much, Christina. And just again, as a reminder, this is a feature you have to turn on as the master administrator on an account. If you don't see that in your given account, it could be something about your specific plan. Please feel free to reach out to our support team, and we're happy to work with you on that. The other thing is, if you're just an employee user on an account, there's a very good chance that you may not see that tab because your master administrator has not turned it on. Just as you're able to activate it, a master admin is also able to deactivate it. There may be a reason that after 60 or 90 days, you don't want folks to have access to that anymore because we're leveraging the added security and the external sophistication of the collaboration tools of ShareFile. And we kind of say, okay, the moratorium is over. We're going to close that window and really move on then with ShareFile as our central hub. So think about it. It's definitely not something everyone needs, but if you have a ton of legacy data in different sources, maybe everyone in the office kind of picked their favorite place to store their documents, and there wasn't really a central decision of where that place was going to be. This is a great solution for you to try to bring some of those sources together and get your business all on one playing field. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to hit on here before we open it up to some Q&A is one thing that we have mentioned a couple of times. Christina actually just showed it in the end of her last demo, which is secure e-signatures. If you saw that as part of the demo today, we did just want to call out that that is an add-on to some accounts. You may already have that, kind of depending on what you bought on day one, but if that's something that you're interested in, we do offer an integrated secure e-signature tool, which would allow you to create a document and then kind of right-click and send it off to a client or a partner to have them securely agree to that document, and that is legally binding. And if you're asking about HIPAA compliance, that's also included there too. So if that's something you're interested in and you don't see it on your account today, feel free to just reach out to that Q&A box and go ahead and type in your name and just say, I'd like to learn more. We're happy to email you a little bit of information to learn more about that product and some of what it does. All right, Christina, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I did, thank you. So I know that on these webinars, we move quickly and we really just want to show you everything ShareFile can do. But for anyone that feels like, maybe it's an overwhelming task or you would just like some guidance, we are here for you as well. So I am one of the customer success managers, and you can sign up for our training programs or use some of our on-demand trainings, because we really don't want you to feel like you're left on your own to figure this out. So the first option you see on the screen is a Smart Start, and that is our 30-day personalized training program. You'll either have a CSM, who would be me, or one of my few colleagues who will walk you through that 30-day training program, and we will learn your company and your needs, and we will build a training plan so that by the end of day 30, you are getting the most out of your account, just optimizing it and working efficiently. And that's $99, so click the link if you want to learn more. And we also have on-demand training. So these are recorded webinars that are online, and we can email out after in our follow-up the link to all of those on-demand training videos as well, if you just prefer to watch videos and self-teach. But I look forward to helping you, so I hope at least a few of you sign up, and we'll really get you using ShareFile.
All right, so I think that brings us to the end here. I know you guys have been asking a ton of questions. If you still have questions, we've got about 10 minutes left here, so please feel free to click on that Q&A and come on back in. And Michelle, did we get any popular or common questions coming through along the way?
We did. Thank you guys so much. So just to reiterate what Christina just said about our recorded webinars, they can be found on that support site that Liz was mentioning earlier. So sharefile.com/support. That's where you find all of our upcoming webinars and the recorded versions as well. And we'll start out with questions about the plugin, since that was the first thing that you reviewed. But I did want to just let you all know that we are doing a 15-minute feature webinar in October just for the plugin. So we're going to deep dive into it. Shouldn't take more than 15 minutes, which is great, but I just wanted to put that out there so everyone could look forward to that invitation coming soon. So Christina, if I have downloaded the plugin before and it has disappeared after my computer did an update, should I just download it again, or is there a different process I need to take?
Great question. If for some reason any of your tools do disappear or uninstall, you can always just go back to the Apps tab in your account and re-download it, and that way you'll be guaranteed that you have the most up-to-date version. So you can kind of take that maybe bad situation, and the silver lining is you will be on our newest version then, so without any bugs.
Awesome. And in Outlook, when a client uses the send me a file securely link that I have, so I have that link in my signature, I want everything to come to me securely, do they receive a notification when I open what they've sent me?
Good question. As the default, they would not. So once you get the email that they've sent you a link to download it, they would not receive any sort of notification. If you were interested in that, there is a setting kind of deep hidden in the admin tab that we could show you. So if you're thinking, yes, that's me, that's my question, just let us know that you would like to see that admin setting, and we'll be sure to reach out after the webinar and show you how you can enable that notification for your client.
Awesome, thank you. And then another client question. So one, is it possible, Christina, for you to quickly show how to make sure that the body of your email is encrypted? And two, when you send that encrypted email, the body of the email to a customer, is their reply back to me encrypted as well?
Excellent question. So to address the first one, within the email, you can rest assured that whatever it is you're typing, again, whether it's something as sensitive as a social security number, or maybe just an address and you just really want to protect personal data, all you need to do is click on the lock. And once it says encryption on, you can rest assured every word you've typed is now encrypted. So the body of the email will not look different. So that is, I guess, one of the key differences between attaching a file safely versus encrypting the body. Although the attachment has that really nice big ShareFile image, the body is encrypted just by clicking the lock and seeing that it says encryption on, and also your button should say send secure. So look for those signs, but just rest assured it's on if it says the lock is on. And then if I actually wanted to ask my client, what is your social security number? By turning encryption on again, like I have it, when they view the email and click View Encrypted Message, it will take them into the internet in a secure ShareFile browser. They will have a lock on the top that says you've been sent an encrypted message. And on the bottom of that page, there is a reply box. So when they reply to you within that box of our ShareFile window, their response is automatically encrypted. So as long as they're actually using that encrypted ShareFile window that they're viewing the message in to respond, it will be automatically encrypted for them on its way back to you. Great question.
And if I can jump in there and add that a little bit, Christina, one of the great things that Michelle mentioned, but you currently have pulled up, is that item in your signature that says, click here to upload files to me safely. Depending on the industry that you work in, especially if you're in a heavily regulated industry or exchanging a lot of information that does tend to be financial or medical or sensitive in nature, this is one example of a best practice you can set with your clients, where you say, maybe out the gate, let's say you're an attorney and you're signing engagement letters with your clients. Maybe part of that letter says, when we communicate electronically, my best practice as a business is that I only communicate through secure channels, and give some examples of that. So, you know, when I send an email to you, I'm always going to use encryption, and I ask that you use that same tool to reply to me, or I will add something to my email signature that says, gives you a link to upload files securely, such that if they have a document they need to send you, maybe they're sending you, again, documents about an accident for legal defense, or information to help you file their taxes. That's just an easy place that they know to go find that link. But the more you can set that expectation out the gate, the more clients are likely to know and to remember to use the secure best practices as a default.
Great. Thank you so much, Liz, for that additional information. So moving on to the next features, can you, Christina, just briefly give a recap of what apps you need a license for? I think you mentioned that it was just the 365 co-editing, but I just wanted to let everyone know because that question came in a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So to address that, the only thing outside of ShareFile that you would need to add on for is that Office 365 editing. Everything else that you see in your account that you could stumble into here on the apps page, these are all free and included. And if you click on Citrix integrations, you will see some of our other tools and features that you would need to add on for a fee, but everything that is within the apps page is included.
Great, thank you. Let me go through to the next one.
And we should call out Michelle there. You know, for most folks, that page should appear. If you're on a personal plan and you're kind of on our lowest tier, there may be one or two of those missing, and we are happy if you call into our support center. Again, sharefile.com/support. We're happy to help you kind of evaluate the best plan for you.
Yep. And does the Microsoft integration work on tablets?
Good question. So the plugin for Microsoft Outlook, this one here is only available for locally installed version to your actual desktop computer or laptop. So if you have tablets or iPads or smartphones or anything else where you do access Outlook, that we do not yet have a plugin for those. We do have an online version of ShareFile for Outlook. So if you are using an online version, you can actually access that from the Apps for Mac tab to learn more. But if you're on some sort of mobile device or tablet, we do not yet integrate with that to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. And when I'm using the co-editing feature, when I edit a document in ShareFile, is there a way to notify other members of that folder that the document was in that I've edited it and it's now ready for their review?
I believe I understand that question. If you add a new version to a folder, one way that you can notify people is, I'll click into one here, is to make sure that those users have upload alerts. So technically, if you're editing a new file in Office 365 or you upload a new version and you assign this person, Liz, in our scenario upload alerts, then when you add that new version, Liz will be notified that that new file is in there. So that can serve as a good reminder or indication to someone that the document is ready. But that's the main way I'm thinking that you would want to use that.
Great, thank you. And moving on to connectors, are connectors available just in the web app, or are they also available mobile?
Great question. And I am just actually pulling up my mobile here to triple check for you guys. But I do believe within the mobile app, you are able to access those connectors. We have the mobile app for both iPhone and Android. Yep, and so right from the left, the upper left navigation bar, you'll see your dashboard, your folders, as well as all of those connectors right beneath there.
So I can confirm that as well. Christina, I'm actually looking at my mobile app right now. If you hover your mouse back over your folders such that we can see your different data repositories on the web app, just like that, perfect, thank you. That same screen that you're seeing there, kind of the list of personal folders, shared folders, and then the other data repositories, that's exactly what your mobile app's going to look like so that you can really have uniform access to that across the board. And the same would be true for the desktop app.
Great, thank you. So this is a question about connectors again. So with connectors, and I think that it just needs to be clarified. I think now that I'm reading this question again, what connectors actually do. But with connectors, can they be set up to update files on a regular basis? So if we use OneDrive, is there a way to get files in both OneDrive and ShareFile, or is it more of a one-time file dump? So Liz, if you want to take that one.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And thank you so much to the person that asked that. Connectors are an ongoing service. So or an ongoing connector. So as you add documents to any data repository, assuming that connector is set up, you'll see those in ShareFile. Depending on your business use case, you may or may not want to do that. The scenario that I was describing is one of those where you're able to use it as more of a one-time dump, maybe set it up, bring your files over, and then you decided to turn it off. But that would totally be your choice. Kind of as a plan for data migration, if you'd like to leave them on in perpetuity and allow those documents to continue to sync, that's just fine too.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I know connectors are so great once you start using them, and we love them. And we also have a on-demand connectors webinar. So you can find that on the website. But again, raise your hand in the Q&A right now. Type your name if you are interested in having me send that directly to you, because that was a great webinar. It really went into depth just about the connectors piece of ShareFile. So we are at time, so I'd love to wrap it up and be respectful of everyone's time. But I do hope that everyone was able to learn more about ShareFile and the Microsoft partnership and integration that we have. Again, you will be receiving this recording. And if we did not get to your question, we will make sure that one of our wonderful customer success managers answers that question via email to you. Also, our October webinars will be launching next week. We'll get an invite out to everyone, and that website will be updated with upcoming webinars. We had a lot of questions come in about client and what the clients see when they receive things and how the client interacts with ShareFile. And that's going to be a new topic for us in October. We're going to walk you through how a client receives files from ShareFile, emails from ShareFile, etc. So that'll be a good one. And like I said, we'll deep dive for 15 minutes into that Outlook plugin as well. So I really appreciate you, Liz and Christina, again, for taking the time out and explaining today. And of course, to our customers, we always appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to spend some time with us. Until next time, have a wonderful day.